let me share my screen. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of our Python for Engineers short-term training program. Okay, so today we are going to understand some more concepts in the basics of Python. For example, how to write some conditions, how to write repetitive statements, for example, how to write loops. And one interesting topic we are going to learn today is integer interning. So today we are going to learn these three basic aspects. Integer interning is a very not an advanced concept, but a concept which has to be learned from system point of view. It's I cannot say it's an advanced concept because that is one of the core concept of Python. Okay, so but the concepts are from the system point of view, not from the user point of view. Okay, so let us quickly start our session. And it's always my pleasure to represent the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, NIT Nagaland. And without wasting our time, I request once again all the participants to kindly try to log in by 3:50 so that we can start the session sharp by 4 p.m. Okay, now let me go to the command prompt and go to the directory where we are writing the programs. And now, what is condition? And why do we need to check some conditions? In real time, we always work on conditions. For example, now, when your clock is ticking 4 o'clock, your brain said, okay, a condition has been verified. The time is 4 o'clock. Let's join the Zoom call for the Python for Engineers session. That some people might not have joined. So they also have met with the same condition. The time is 4 o'clock. Some people may not have joined. So there is a option here in real time also to choose which path you want to go. For example, when the time is at the clock is ticking at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so some people will join the class, some people will not join the class. That means depending upon the condition, the path of flow of execution will always change. This is a very primary basic foundational concept where everybody will might have already learned in C language or any other. Can you make screen into white color, please, if possible? And one student is messaging me that voice is not heard. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Yes, sir.
Okay. Some people, I request all the participants, do not send me any private messages in the chat. If you have any doubt, send to everyone only. Why? Because some people have the same doubt, but they might be hesitant to ask me. So your doubt, when you are typing for chat for everyone, will clear many other people doubt also. And one of the participant has requested me to change the background. Let me change the background into white color, and the context of typing will be in the black color. Now, is it fine? Okay, Srikanth has asked me to do this. It's fine. So I am changing the command prompt background. Okay, now let us try to understand a simple condition. For example, understand conditions.py. Understand conditions.py. Okay, now it's very simple to write conditions, and you might be familiar with if condition, if clause, else clause, else if ladder, etc. in C language, C++, and Java. So just because this Python programming is covering all the basic concepts in addition to the advanced and specialized concepts, so let me just spend 5 to 10 minutes of time and just tell you how we can write some condition in Python. For example, before telling the conditions, let me write a small program. I think yesterday one of the participants, B Gopi, he was telling us in the chat box saying that Python takes by default data type as string. We have to convert it into integer. That's what he responded. Actually, he is wrong in the context of yesterday's class, but yesterday also I reminded that definitely I understand from where or from which concept he might have understood in that manner where he thinks that all the by default data type in Python is string. Let me just write a simple program, add two numbers.py. This is before the conditions. Add two numbers.py. It's a very simple program. Like I can say number one is equal to, for example, 34. Number two is equal to 89. Then print the first number is number one. Then print the second number is number two. To save the time, I am copying and trying to save some time, but ideally you should type all the lines by yourself so that you will learn different syntax in other programming languages also including Python. Then print the sum is number one plus number two. It's a very simple program that anybody can understand. So I'm taking two numbers and then let us try to execute and see the program. Py add two numbers.py. So obviously 34 plus 89 is 123. Okay, now there is no doubt in this program. You execute this program 100 times, every time you will get the same output, that is 123. Is it not? Why? Because, excuse me,
Looks like sir got disconnected. Everybody's
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Within 1 second. Sir is telling in the offline also.
yeah. Everybody stay online while we connect the sir back.
Yes, sir. Within few seconds.
No, students are asking why is there is no audio and videos. That's why.
Nagaraj, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Share your screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir.
Yes.
I
Sir, I forgot. I didn't notice that I got disconnected, but I keep on talking. My
No
my
issue,
wife.
sir. You please share
Yeah,
your
yeah.
screen, sir.
Yes. Share screen option is not coming for me, sir. Let me just check again. Yeah, now it comes, sir.
Okay, sir. Stop.
Sorry for the disconnection, please. Anyways, I don't know exactly at what point of time I got disconnected. Did you guys see the output 123 when we are adding
Sir, your
34 and
screen not shared, sir.
You did it for 2 times or
Again,
3
you
times.
please try it again.
1 second, sir. I think there is some issue with internet. Just hold on, sir. Is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You please
Okay.
carry on, sir.
Yeah. Sorry for the technical disconnection. Now, when I am writing the program, by asking the inputs from the user, for example, instead of directly taking number 1 equal to 34 and 89, I am actually giving the input from the keyboard. Then what happened? Instead of arithmetic addition, we got string concatenation. That's why 34 and 89 are placed side by side. 34 and 89 are placed side by side. Okay. This is because input method reads only strings. I think that's where one of the participants, B. Gopi Krishna, told yesterday, Python by default takes strings. No, the answer is Python does not take only strings, but the input method in Python reads strings. So we need to perform typecasting. What is typecasting? Typecasting means forcibly changing the data type. Forcibly changing the data type. Let me take the screenshot. And now there is a reason why I am explaining this program, because we are going to use this exclusively in many other sessions also. So what I have to do is very simple. Everybody please notice. Integer of input method. That's what I am writing here. So use the input method and then purposefully change the data type from string to, so what is the guarantee that it is a string? Is it just because 34 and 89 are placed side by side? Let us also see that. For example, let me come directly to the Python prompt and show you. Let me go to the Python command prompt. Number 1 is equal to 34. Then type of number 1, it's integer. Same thing you write in another way. Number 1 is equal to input, enter a number. Oh, sorry. Input, enter a number. Now it is asking enter a number. If I enter 34, see 34 is there as a string. What is the guarantee that 34 is a string? It is there in a single quote. If you really want to know whether that is string or not, you can even type. I hope everybody understood. Whenever you are reading, so input is like get s method in C language. What is get s? Get string. So input is like a get string method. I'm not comparing get s and input here, but it is just like that. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to forcibly typecast. Everybody look here. Number 1 is equal to, when you say enter a number, and when you enter 34, you print number 1, it gives 34. You print type of number 1, it gives string. Now let us see here. Integer of number 1. That means I am forcibly changing the number 1. Did you understand? Let me just try to annotate and highlight so that you can clearly see exactly in which place I am trying to point out. See, number 1 is a string. What is the guarantee that it is a string? There are 2 lines here. One is 34 in inverted commas, another one is as class string. But when I am forcibly converting as integer number, then the inverted commas vanish. The inverted comma is not there. That means type of number 1. It still says string. It still says string. But when I am giving int number 1, it is giving a normal 34. See, typecasting will not change the data type permanently. Only for that instance it will change. In this kind of example. In this kind of example, okay, that's why you type, for example, type integer of number 1. Are you able to understand? So integer of number 1 does not at this point of time. For example, if you write, please try to understand the in-depth concepts also, right? Even though this concept is very, very basic, when you say simple integer of number 1 in this line, it gives an integer, but still the string data type remains. But if in case, if you say number 1 equal to integer of number 1, that means you are changing the data type and again you are assigning it to number 1. Now when you type number 1, it gives a normal integer only. I hope you guys are able to understand the basic difference between a simple typecasting and typecasting and assigning back to a variable. Please try to understand the differences between the 2 highlighted things. Okay. So now I want an arithmetic addition. I want an arithmetic addition, but I want to read from the standard input device only. That's why you see here, I am reading the value, converting it to integer, and then placing into number 1. Now number 1 will be only integer. Number 1 will be only integer. If you really want to know, you can also say print type of number 1 is type of number 1. You call the method type. Similarly, you can also try to understand the next data type also of number 2. Okay. Now let me execute the program. Add two numbers.py. Suppose if I enter 39, 34 and 89, now you can clearly see that even though input method reads a string, I can forcibly change it to integer. So if there is any doubt, let me come to the chat box. Yeah, I think Gokul Krishna has understood clearly what was his wrong understanding yesterday and today. Thank you. So one of the participant 17541 Subbu is asking whether input will work or not. Yes, it will work. See, this enter the first number is not required. But when you execute a program without any prompt, let me remove this and re-execute. When I am executing, see, there is no prompt. I don't know what to do now. It simply waits. Why? Because of the input method in line number 3 and 4. But it is this way of executing is not a more interactive way of writing a program. So always you should put some messages. You should put some messages. Okay. So let me come out. Sorry, here I have to put number 2. By mistake, I didn't change it. Now you can see clearly, if I enter 23 and 45, first number is 23, the type is something, right? Type is integer. At the same time, you are going to get the arithmetic addition. Now, quickly move on to the conditions. I would like to check whether a number is even or odd. It's very basic thing which we might have already known. I came out by mistake from the command prompt. So let me go understand conditions.py. Pawan is asking, both are right in single line, how instead of two different? Pawan, I did not understand what you are asking. Can you please ask me once? And roll number 561 has sent a message saying explain once again. Which part I have to explain once again? Pawan, we are still in a basic concepts. You are asking me about split and all, okay? So let us go with the basics now. And Akash is asking, numerics defaultly calculates, sir, either it is string or not, only alphabets will return an error. Akash, I did not understand what you are saying. So, okay, let us continue. In case of any difficulty, let me give you some more time after some time. Okay, now to find a given value is even or odd. Given value is even or odd. I think everybody knows what is an even number. When you are dividing a number with 2 and if the remainder is 0, and by default everybody will know slash operator gives quotient and percentage operator gives remainder. I think this concept everybody knows. Even in C language it is the same, right? So now let us try to understand how we can use a condition here. Number equal to input, enter a value, enter a value. Then if number %2 is double equal to 0. What is double equal to? Double equal to is an equal to relational operator. In C language also it is the same. Single equal to is an assignment. Double equal to is equal to operator. Then if it is a C language, we write something like this. Printf %d is an even number. This is how we write in C language. Okay. But in Python, there is no curly brace concept. Instead, we have to use a colon. Then print. I think kindly all the participants mute your mics, please. Okay. Print number, okay, is an even number. So it will display the value in this position. It will display the value of the number. Then the string is an even number. Else, again column. Print number is an odd number. That means if the condition is false. It's very simple to write. Okay, there is no curly brace. Concept here. But instead of curly brace, you need to use colon. Now, when we execute this program, there will be one issue. Okay, what is that issue? Let me purposefully, I want to create that issue so that I can explain that concept. Let me execute the condition, understand conditions.py. Immediately it said, see, syntactically, it is expecting something. There is an error called as indentation error. And then it is giving me the description, expected an indented block. Okay. So what is indentation? That's the next question. Very simple. When you are using conditions, loop, or functions, Python needs an indented block. What is an indented block? I will tell you. It's very simple. You need to write the instructions inside the if. For example, line number 6 is part of if. Okay, you need to start that line at least with one space. That means line number 6 belongs to condition. For example, I can also write that another statement, condition is true. Now you see line number 6 and 7 are having a space, single space. So this is called as an indented block. Indented block is nothing but giving space. Suppose if you give one space, in else also you have to give one space. Means throughout the program, you need to maintain the same thing. I can also say condition is false. Now 6 and 7 are indented block of if condition. Line number 9 and 10 are indented block of else clause. Now you can also give 2 spaces. Then consistently you need to use 2 spaces. Okay, you can also use 3 spaces, 4 spaces. So I give tab. You know tab, right? Tab button. TAB tab button. Okay. But ideally, if you can give 4 spaces, it is most recommended. Because I am in a workshop, so I have to explain in a faster manner. So for me, just pressing a tab will give me a good amount of space. So let me now execute the program. I believe that everybody understood what is an indented block. In case if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Enter a value, for example, 34. Okay. I forgot one thing, to typecast here, correct? So let me change the line number 4. I forgot to typecast. That's why it is telling, if you are not typecasting, then you cannot get a reminder of a string. No, that's why it is saying there is some problem with conversion here. Okay, so ignore that issue because it's a logical mistake I have written. Condition is true, 34 is an even number. Suppose you execute again, you type 35, 35 is an odd number. So this is a simple example of how to use a condition. How to use a condition. So now let me come back to the chat box and check in case if you have any doubt. Please tell me more about indentations. Program retrieve more errors due to indentation errors. Okay. So there are two students who are asking, Aninkan Gatak and Akash. They are asking about indentation error. See, that's why I told you throughout the program, for example, see here, let me give 1 space here, okay, and 2 spaces or 3 spaces. Just see here. First time I gave 1 space, next time I am giving some other space like this. See, everywhere there is a, here I am giving 2 spaces, here I am giving some more spaces. Are you able to understand what I am saying? Different ways of indentations are written abruptly. Now, if I execute this program, definitely indentation errors will come. I think this is the best example of how to deal with indentations. How to deal with indentations. The answer is simple. Consistently give same spacing in the entire program, throughout the program. Throughout the program. I hope you guys have understood how to deal with indentation. So when you are giving a single space, give single space everywhere. If you are giving double space, give double space everywhere. Don't give indentations of different spaces in different lines. So is it clear? Or if there is any doubt, please let me know. This is a very simple concept. Let me come to the chat box. Yes, Chaitanya Raju, that's what I am telling. Every space should be same, consistently same. In Python, where indentations are occur only in, see, indentation is not with Nanda Nandini. Indentation is not with print. Indentation is for the conditions loop. For example, see here, let me give a equal to 3. See, a equal to 3 is not a print statement. A equal to 3 is not a print statement. But I did not follow indentation in line number 6. as it is followed in line number 7, 8 and 10, 11. So again, if I execute the program, it still says unindent does not match any outer indentation level. So there is a different method, different description here. It is not saying there is no indented block, but what it is saying is it's comparing. Let me just tell you. One of the participants, Nanda Nandini, asked a doubt, is indentation error only for print? It's not for print. It's about the condition and other condition, loop or function. See here, A equal to 3, A equal to 3 space, and the print is different length. So that's why it says, pause, your print condition is true, is not in the same indentation level of A equal to 3. That's what it means. What is the meaning of this indentation error? The meaning is line 6 has a different spacing than line 7. That's why we got a message saying that unindent does not match any outer indentation level. I believe that you guys have understood clearly now. One more doubt has come. Harita Ratala. Is space does not matter in Python? Space matters, no. Space matters in Python in indentation blocks. Space matters in Python. Space matters in Python. Harita, is it clear? Is everybody under? Okay. Is it clear, everyone? Or is there any doubt in this indentation? Okay. Now people are convinced and there is no doubt. So let us move ahead and see simple loops. See, I am not going to explain all the conditions and all the programs in loops or anything, but I just want to give you a rough idea so that in the coming sessions, I am going to use the conditions, I am going to use loops in a different level so that instead of spending time only on basics, I am only giving a rough idea for the first 4 days, and then we will go to file management and others where we will definitely use the loops, we will use the conditions, etc. So let me write understand loops.py. What is a loop? Loop is a repetitive structure. Loop is a repetitive structure. Why we need repetition? I will tell you one simple example. A person is going to jog every day morning at 5 o'clock in a ground for 10 rounds, for example. So what he does, he starts jogging. When one round is over, automatically his brain says 1 round completed. Then when second round is completed, the brain by default increments the number of rounds from 1 to 2. Then like that, and again one condition will be checked. His idea is to have 10 rounds. Unless until he is tired or somebody disturbs him, imagine nobody is disturbing him and he is not tired. Then what he will do? After every round, his brain does 2 things. One, increment the number of rounds by 1, and second, whether the round is 10 or not. If it is not 10, the person continues to jog in another round. If the jogging is completed, that is if round 10 rounds are completed, automatically his brain will process and give a signal, "Arey, aaj ka kaam ho gaya." Means, "Iroju, we have completed everything." Right? So immediately it will come out. That person will stop jogging and he will go home. In the same way, there are some situations where we have to execute set of instructions or one instruction. Okay. one or more instructions when executed repeatedly we call it as a loop. Now repeatedly means there should be one condition also. Repeatedly, if you say repeatedly, for example, the person started jogging and he forgot how many rounds he has done, then what he will do? He will get confused and he will start from beginning. Ideally, if he get tired, he will go home. That's a different thing. But so repeated execution based on a condition. Repeatedly based on a condition. If condition is not there, then it's a dangerous thing that you will go for an infinite loop. So with this small definition of a loop, let me tell you, there are two loops in Python: while and for loop. While loop and for loop. There are two loops. There is no do while like C language. There are two loops, while and for. I think while and for loop does not need any introduction because you people might be already knowing it in the C language. Okay. So basically, what is a loop? Loop is one or more instructions which are executed repeatedly based on a condition. Which are executed repeatedly based on a condition. Okay. So now I request again all the participants, do not send messages in the chat box privately to me. Please send to everybody so that it will be clear. Okay, don't reply to me privately so that it will not distract my flow of teaching. Okay. Then let us try to understand how to print 1 to 10 using a loop. How to print 1 to 10 using a loop. It's a very simple thing. I am here trying to explain you just how to use a loop. I'm not going to write reverse number program, prime number program, Fibonacci series, factorial of a program, Armstrong number, string related. I'm not going to write all those things, but I'm just telling you how to use a loop in Python. Okay, because in the next coming sessions, we will definitely use the loops and conditions many times in each and every program or each and every case study implementation. So let me tell one thing: number equal to 1. Either you write, one of the participants said that he is getting an error when he does not give a space or give a space. It does not matter. Whether you give number equal to 1 or give space, both are same. Giving space looks good. That is the only reason I am giving space here. Whenever you are writing a program, it looks good when you are giving some spaces. Number equal to 1, simple. While number less than or equal to 10, suppose if it is a C language, again we use something like this, curling brace. But in Python, as I already told you, there is no curly brace concept, but you need to put a colon and then immediately you need to follow indentation. I am pressing tab. You can press single space or double space or any other spaces, but it should be consistently the same across the program. Print. I am just trying to print number, the value of number. After printing the number, number is equal to number plus 1. In another way, you can write in a shortcut, number plus equal to 1. Both are same. Number is equal to number plus 1 or number plus equal to 1. Both are same. That's all. Now, let me just type one more prompt message before the while loop. Before the while loop. So just for understanding purpose, then I can say print inside the while loop. Inside the while loop. I forgot to give a single quote here. Then if you want to write something after the while loop, simply remove the indentation. Simply remove the indentation. For example, it will say after the while loop. Now line number 9, it's very simple to understand. No, line number 6, 7, 8 belongs to while loop. Line number 1, 2, 3, 4 and line number 9 are outside the while loop. It's very simple to understand. I believe you guys have understood. Now before the while loop statement will be printed once, after the while loop will be printed once, but inside the while loop will come 10 times. It will come 10 times. And number will be printed from 1 to 10. Number will be printed from 1 to 10. So let me execute this program. I believe that you guys have understood. Let me execute understand loops. Clearly you can see that before the while loop and after the while loop comes once, but rest all will come multiple times, like 10 times basically. So I believe everybody understood this program. So how to write a line after the while loop but not part of while loop? That means you have to remove the indentation. Here line number 9 is outside the while loop. I believe everybody understood. So let me go to the chat box and then see if there is any doubt. Otherwise, we will see the next topic. Okay, one of the participant, Chaitanya Raju, is asking number whether quotation is not required. Okay, let me just check what Chaitanya Raju is asking. Chaitanya Raju is asking why you did not put single quotations or why it is not required. I am telling you, Chaitanya Raju and others, see, single quote is required for strings only. Single quotes are required for strings only. If I put single quote in this number, you know what will come? Number, NUMBR will come 10 times. See here, NUMBR will come 10 times. Not the value of number. Not the value of number. So do not keep quotations for the reference variables here. Do not keep single or double quotes in print method when you need to print the value of any reference variable. In this example, print number gives 1 to 10, but print number in single quotes gives the string number 10 times. I hope I have clarified the doubt of Chaitanya Raju. Okay, let me clear the annotations and try to understand another concept like same thing. Can I use for loop? Can I use for loop? Yes, definitely you can use for loop. Let us try to understand how to use a for loop now. Okay, Jairam is asking whether we can write this way. Jairam, you please try in the practice session and tell me whether number plus plus is working or not. Actually, increment operator is not there in Python, I believe. So let me anyways try it. What Jairam is asking is, can I use number plus plus? Number plus plus. Let me try. Increment operator is not available. Increment operator is not available in Python. Increment operator is not available in Python. I hope Jairam's doubt is clarified. So let me remove it. Now I will keep the while loop in comments and I will write a for loop here. I will write a for loop. For loop is also like a while loop, only the working principle is same. In C language, how we will write? For for basically initialization, semicolon, condition, semicolon, increment or decrement. This is how we write in C language. Okay, but here all these things are not required in Python. In case if you are using a for loop, I will tell you a simple method how to print. See, to print numbers from 1 to 10 using for loop, how to do that? Simple. See here, for number in range 1, 11, print number. See, the for loop is more simpler to use. The background concepts are hidden, but it is so simple to use. There is no increment, there is no defining the value. Now I can directly use in this manner. For number in range, I will explain you what is this for number in range. Okay, so let me execute and then I will explain you. For number in range 1, 11, print number. Let me. Oh, I am writing understand condition. Sorry. Py understand loops. Oh, I forgot to keep the parenthesis. Sorry for that. That was a syntax mistake. Now you can see the values are coming. The values are coming. So this is another way of using for loop in Python. Okay, for number in range. What is range? Range is a method. Range is a method. Okay, so let me explain you clearly how exactly the for loop works. How exactly for loop works. Range method is exclusively used to iterate. Iterate means loop. Iterate within a range of values. That is the first point. So the loop by default starts with 1. Here at line 13, for loop starts the number with 1 and starts the number with 1. Then range method takes two arguments here. Two arguments. Imagine range x comma n will start the values range from 1 to 3 up to n minus 1. That's why when I am giving 11, it has given me only the value till 10 only. In the print statement, you can see clearly. That is because range function, whenever you are giving x comma n, here x is 1, n is 11. So it will, so that means range 1 comma 11 will start the range of values from 1 and end at n minus 1. That is 10. That is 10. And automatically, for loop, automatically increment is done. Automatically increment is done because of the range method. Due to range method, increment is done. Or I can say increment is done automatically due to range method. I think that is a better way of explaining or writing. Increment is done automatically due to range method. That's why there is no number equal to number plus 1 line here. I believe everybody understood how we can use a for loop. If we need decrement, see what if we want, okay, please let me explain the doubts one by one. Swati is asking, where is number variable initialized? Okay, let me, please one by one, let me even, I am unable to read all the questions, right? Let me read. Swati has asked a question, where is number variable initialized? That's what I am telling. I already explained here, Swati. Number will automatically starts from, so number will start from 1 and ends at 10. Now, another person is asking how I can start from 2. Simply give 2 instead of 1. Simply give 2 instead of 1. Another person is asking, how can I print only even numbers? See, these are the very foundational concepts that you yourself can practice. Our basic idea in today's class is not only to learn about different loop programs, but to just understand how loops are written in Python. Okay. See, if I keep on explaining that, then my integer interning concept will go for tomorrow. And Srikanth is asking, for indentation, we have to provide at least a single space. Correct. If you are giving a single space, Srikanth, in the entire program, for all the indentations, give single space only. Okay. So some people are asking, how can I print even number? How can I print odd numbers? It's very simple. For example, if number mod 2 is equal to 0, then only print. Now double indentation. Why double indentation in line number 15? If is part of for and print is not only part of for, it is also part of the if condition. So you need a double indentation. I hope everybody understood. Now one of the participants asked, how can I print even numbers? If number mod 2 equal to 0, then only print. Then what will happen? It will print the values in the even number, even numbers only will be printed. So it should not be a big deal. Now, if somebody is asking, sir, I want only the odd numbers, how to do? Prints only even numbers. Suppose if you want to have only odd number, then what do you have to do? If number mod 2 not equal to 0, then what will happen? Odd numbers will come. Prints odd numbers. See, these are very, very simple thing that you yourself can also practice. Okay, I am not saying these doubts are not valid. Definitely, these are valid doubts. Another student is asking how to start from 2. You put 2 here, it will start from 2. You put from minus 10. You put from minus 10, then obviously the range will start from minus 10 to 10. Are you able to understand? It's very simple. So these are different arguments, and then you will get different outputs. You just change the argument, you will get a different output. Sir, done decrement, not increment. Okay. Some people are asking, I want decrement, I don't want increment. Then what you have to do? Don't use range. Don't use range. For example, 1 second. Okay, let me keep it in comment. If you want decrement, you write in this manner. Number equal to 10. Okay, for number greater than 0, that means when number is greater than 0, okay, print number, number equal to number minus 1. So it says invalid syntax. It says invalid syntax. That means what? Here, for is a different loop altogether. For is a different loop altogether. Then in such kind of cases, I think you can use the while loop. While number greater than 0, you can use in this manner. Okay. So if you permit me, I will start the next topic, because we will come to know about using loops in different things again. From tomorrow, day after tomorrow, in all the session, I am going to use many times in every case study different way of writing loops. Okay, so definitely you will learn more about loops in the coming sessions also. So let me go and check the chat box. Okay. So again, some people are asking me in private chat box, can I use range function? I think you guys are more worried about a simple program, how to print 1 to 10 and 10 to 1. So let me again, then I have to again continue the same, because people are asking me doubts, so I cannot go ahead with the next topic. So let me also use another way of writing a for loop with the range function, like for I in range, okay, 10, 1, increment -1. Exclusively, I am giving the third parameter. Then let me print I. Is it well understood? See, this is another way of writing the same for loop with decrement. Directly, you cannot write for number greater than 0. Okay. So, is it fine, everybody? See, range method, you can go and verify different arguments and all. Okay. See, our intention is not to write a simple for loop here. Try to understand. Okay. Anyways, I have explained you how to print 10 to 1 also. How to print 10 to 1 in a decremental fashion. Prints 10 to 1 in decremental fashion, decremental manner. Okay. So is it fine, or because I am going to explain you strings also, in when I am explaining strings, I am going to write loops. So definitely I am going to use loops in many places. So shall we go to the next topic? Take a 2 minutes break here. Everybody, take a 2 minutes break. Just get refreshed, and we are going to learn a very interesting topic in Python that is called as integer interning, which is not available in C language, C++, Java. A unique concept implemented in Python. So take a couple of minutes break and we will resume the session again. I hope everybody is with me. Another doubt is there: how to print numbers in a single line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Definitely it's a valid doubt only. I think I will tell you, I don't know who is that student. I will tell you tomorrow or day after tomorrow when I am explaining the concept list. Okay, how to print the numbers side by side instead of a new line. See, by default in C language, printf prints side by side, but in Python, print gives in a new line, every time a new line. In case if you want the numbers side by side, I will tell later on. Okay, because that should not be a big query that we should bother right now. Okay, so let us now go and try to understand a concept called as integer interning. We are going to learn a concept called as integer interning. Okay, for that, everybody, please observe, I am going to the Python prompt. I am going to the Python prompt. If I give 1 and type enter, it will print 1. I am not giving a equal to 1. and printed A. No. Try to understand again what I am saying. Let me go back. The moment I am typing 1, from where it is printing this 1? That's my question. I didn't put any variable like x equal to 1 and then print x. Simply, I am typing 1 and I am able to get the output 1. How come? Any guess? Let me come to the chat box. Any guess? Yeah. Can somebody guess something and type me in the chat box? Okay, fine. Now, let me type. You know what is ID, right? ID means identity, address location of X. I am typing ID of 1. Immediately, it has given me one address location, but I never stored 1 anywhere in any variable. Try to understand what I am saying. Let me also write you a small text here. We did not store the value 1 in any reference variable, but the value is printed and also an address is printed. Address is 1377433520. What does it mean? What does it mean in Python? That's the question that we are going to understand now. It's a very interesting topic. Okay, and very usually nobody will teach this integer interning. Suppose if you go to any crash courses or any Udemy or Coursera, nobody will teach you what is integer interning in general, because these are the concepts of Python internals. Means these are the hidden concepts in Python, basically. How Python handles integers is called as Python interning. Now, let me give a equal to 1. When I just type a, it gives me 1. And let me again type the ID of a. Everybody please observe what is happening here. Now, I am saying b equal to 1. If I type b, it is printing 1, obviously. And when I type ID of b, it is giving me the address location, which is exactly same as a and also exactly like ID of 1. Now I will say c equal to a. What is the value of a? 1. So when I type c, 1 will come. I am giving ID of c. When I am giving ID of c, let me explain you the concept here clearly. Everybody please observe. The moment I gave 1, automatically a location has been given. A location has been given. For example, this is the location where 1 is stored and the location address is 1377433520. So this is fine. Okay, but when I am giving a equal to 1, then what exactly happened is the same location is coming even for a also. Even for A also, same location is coming. Correct. Now, when I am giving B equal to 1, and when I am typing the identity of B, what exactly happened is, even B is also referring to the same location. But A is not B, correct? Because only the value is same. Now, when I am saying C equal to A, when I am giving C equal to A, because A location is, A value is 1 and A location is 1377433520, even C also got the same location. Even C also got the same location. That means here how many times 1 is used? How many times 1 is used? How many times we used the value 1? Okay, 4 times. First thing, first instance is 1, then A equal to 1, then B equal to 1, and then C equal to A. That means, it means C equal to 1 only. So 4 times we used. 4 times we used then. But there is only one location. There is only one location which is created by Python, through Python, right? Which is created. So what does it mean? What is this concept known as? And why such implementation is followed in Python? Basically, what is the use? What is the use? Basically, what is the purpose? Okay. So what is the purpose? We are going to understand all these questions in detail in this session only. So let me come back and see chat box. Yeah, Syed, just wait. I have not come to that, Syed. Okay. Now let us go ahead. Instead of typing everything in the Python prompt, what I want to do is I will simply write a program. Simply write a program and let us see the output of the program. Okay. I can also keep on typing on the command prompt directly, but for easy understanding, let me come out of the command prompt and write a program, understand identities in depth. Understand identities in depth. There is, let me write the program now. Simple. One is A equal to 1, then print A is equal to, I want the value of 1. Then print ID of A is equal to, see, I am writing a string here. ID of A equal to, okay, ID of A. Then let me take B equal to, so here I have to write B, I have to write B. And then C equal to A or B, because both are same. C equal to A or C equal to B will be same. Okay. The same commands, whatever I tried there, I am writing a program because one of the participants, Syed, immediately asked a good question also in the chat box. What will happen if we change the value to some other value? Even for that, I need to write a program so that it is easy for me to explain. So let me try to execute the program, and obviously you will get the same output. Oh, okay. I understand the mistake. I have to close the print also here. By mistake, I have made a syntax error. So that's fine. And when I'm typing on the live session, sometimes syntax errors do happen. So as you are saying that the identities are same. All three identities are exactly same. Let us change the value of A or B or C. Let us change the value. Okay, either A, B or C. If you change A, remember C also will change automatically. Correct or not? I think everybody will agree with me. Why? Because C is equal to A. Okay, so let me change B first from 1 to 2. Okay, from 1 to 2 and re-execute the program. Re-execute the program. So let me take the screenshot, and now let us come here. Let me change B equal to 2 and execute the program again. Now clearly you can see that A and C is sharing the locations, but B has a different address. In case if you are unable to follow, please observe carefully. The value of A is 1 and the address is 1377 433 520 433 520, and in this A is there and C is also there. Correct. But you can clearly see the address of B is different. The address of B is different. Because the value is different, it is not sharing the location 1377 433 536. If you are exactly observing or not, the difference of locations is 16 bytes. This is also an important aspect that you can clearly notice. Sir, how you can say it is 16 bytes? Let me just tell you why I could say that it is 16 bytes is, observe these two locations. Only the last part is here 20, and in this location B, the last part is 36. The difference is 16 bytes. Why it is 16 bytes? Now it is very simple to understand. No, integer takes 16 bytes in Python. Integer takes 16 bytes. Integer takes 16 bytes in Python. Now, till now, is it clear? Let me come to the chat box and check whether you guys have understood or not. How 16 bytes? Anikan Ghatak is asking how 16 bytes. I already explained just now by annotations. Anikan Gatak, I hope you might have understood. Okay, now let us go further. Let us go further. In the same program, let me now reassign the value of A with 2. Let me reassign the value of A with 2 after line number 9. After line number 9. Okay. So what we will do is, let us add a new line at a new line 10 with a statement A equal to 2 and observe the output of identities, or let us observe the address locations again. Okay, so let me clear the drawings and let me give A equal to 2. Now let me again print. Obviously I need to print no, otherwise how I will know the value of A and what is the location. And let me also print the C also. Let me also print C. And now let me execute the program and explain you the concept hidden inside the Python. Understand identities in depth. Now everybody, please notice that the location of A initially was shared with B. The location of A is initially shared with B. Later, why you did not write, one of the student is asking, why you did not write any variable in single quote and comma? I think again they are asking the same doubt. See, if you put variable inside a single quote, it becomes a string. I think one of the student asked me in the previous program when I am explaining the loop, print number. Why you did not put number in single quote? If I put number in single quote, what will happen? NUMBR will become string instead of giving the value of the value of the variable number. Roll number 168981. Did you understand? Okay. Now, everybody please observe carefully. When the first 3 locations, for example, here A and C shares the same location. A and C shares the same location. Is it not? Now, in line number 10, because A is equal to 2, immediately it actually shared the location of B from line number 10. From line number 10, see, A is now sharing the location of B and C remains alone. C does not change to 2 because C equal to A is written in line number 7. In line number 7, C equal to A. Okay, so C remains as it is. As line 10 is after line 7, I believe you guys are understanding. C value remains as 1 and it occupies the location 1377433520. Now, let us write another line called as C equal to A after A equal to 2. Let us write that line, C equal to A. Okay. Let us add one more line, C equal to A after line 10. Okay. Let me clear all the drawings and come here, comma, C equal to A. I can write in a single line also, or okay, it may lead to more confusion. So let me just simply say C equal to A. And if you execute now, initially A and C were having a location, but later on that location is changed to the same location of B, and 1377433520 location itself is not there. I believe now you understand. Here in the end, A, B and C are referring to the same location. Referring to the same location. Now, this concept is called as integer interning. This concept is called as integer interning. Now, why integer interning is there and what is the advantage? See, let me just tell you by directly typing. Sorry, where is the annotation? Yeah, annotation, text box. Integer interning is the concept of sharing the locations of some integers with same values. What I mean to say some integers, that means some values will share, some values may not share. For example, let me come back and explain you again with another example. Let me, I am opening multiple command prompts. I hope you guys are understanding. One is in F drive. I am launching Python. Another one is in C drive. I am launching Python. Let me just go to D drive and launch Python. See, there are 4 drives with me. One is F, which I am using, C drive, D drive, and let me also open one more command prompt. And let me go to E drive and launch the Python prompt. See, now you can clearly see that there are 4 different command prompts and Python is launched from 4 different drives. Python is launched from 4 different drives. Okay, and in every drive, let me just type ID of 1. Let me go to the C drive and type ID of 1. See, this location is exactly same. You may get a different value, but all the values will be same in your machine. For example, when you are executing this particular line, you may not get 1377433520. Suppose you may get 1234 example, but in your machine you will get only 1234 every time when you are doing this. Let me open the another drive one. See here, ID of 1. It's same. And finally, let me show you the E drive also. ID of 1. It's same. All the locations in different drives also are same. What does it mean? It means that my Python application in my machine is taking same value. Is taking the same value. Yeah, I think Sujit sir is asking me one question. Can you do B by A and print ID of D. Okay, let me also try that, sir. Definitely I will try, Sujit sir. Now, what I mean to say here is, if you clearly understand, let me also highlight so that it is very easy. All the locations are exactly same. Even if it is launched from a different drive, all the same locations are coming in my machine. So at this instance, irrespective of the drive where Python is launched, one second, where Python is launched, the address locations are exactly same. The address locations are exactly same. Now, let us go ahead and do something else. Now, let me close all the command prompts because I just want to give you a clarity. So let me have only one. Let me have only one command prompt. So exit and exit. So just give me a minute. Exit and exit. And exit, exit. Now, in a single command prompt, let us try to understand one more thing. Let me give ID of 500. Please observe what is happening. The address locations are changed. But if I give ID of 1, unchanged. Sometimes it is giving, and the series also looks completely different. See the series of address locations. ID of 1 has a series, some 1377 something, but ID of 500 has a different series, and I'm getting different addresses. Sometimes I may get the same address, but see, 4 times I executed, I'm getting 4 different addresses. After that, again, you are getting some repeat address also, but every time it changes. Every time it changes. Okay. Another participant is asking how to execute a Python program because you don't have a laptop. I think you can go to any online resource. I think our secretaries are also has shared Solo Learn. So kindly check the WhatsApp group, and there are so many online tools where you can actually write from my mobile itself. From your mobile itself, you can do. Okay. Python online compiler. You just Google it and you will get it. So let me concentrate on the technical aspects of the session here, please, because we are running out of time and you people are not joining. You are actually making me wait for 10 minutes more, so that I am actually losing 10 minutes of my precious time. And obviously you are also, your time is also precious, I believe. So please do join on time. So today I am going to take 10 minutes extra with the permission of the organizers, because I want to complete a topic. So in case if I am getting extension, please permit me. And in case if anybody has a mobile data issue, you can log out and you can watch the recorded session later on. Okay. Now, the address location of 1 is fixed, I can say. But the address location of 500 is dynamic. That means basically it changes. That means location is not fixed. That means, so in Python, some integers are having fixed memory locations, but others are not fixed locations. So there is a concept here again. So I hope I am trying to explain you step by step. Instead of directly writing a program and tell this is integer interning, I am trying to tell you from the basic foundational knowledge like typing 1 and checking a equal to 1 and all. No. So let me now continue. Let me take a screenshot of this. Clear all the drawings and I think Sujit sir asked one small additional line. For example, a equal to 1, or I can say, let me keep and let me try a equal to 1, b equal to 2, now c equal to b by a, b by a. Basically b means 2, 2 divided by, now let me just type print only id of a, print id of b and print id of c. I hope this is what Sujit sir has asked. So let me just go and try to understand what exactly Python handles this particular segment of code. Py, understand identities in depth. Now you see clearly here, when you are giving, actually c is equal to 1 only. C is equal to, sorry, 2 by 1 is actually 2, but C does not share the location of B here. C, even though the value is 2, because 2 by 1, it does not share the same location of B. Same location of B. It does not share like B's location. Why? Because see, C equal to B by A is executed in runtime. I will tell this example. When we wrote C equal to A, it shared A's location, correct? But when we wrote C equal to B divided by A, it does not share the B's location. There is a reason. What is the reason? The reason is C equal to B by A is executed, right, during the programs, or basically I can say is evaluated at runtime, or you can say execution time. But C equal to A is evaluated during compilation time itself. Okay, let us try to understand more about this, right? It's a very good concept that Sujit Kumar sir has asked me. Anyways, it is also a part of this integer interning concept. So let us now let me take a screenshot and continue, right? So where we stopped at a concept that some integers are having same location, some integers are having different locations, correct? So when I say ID of 1, it says same. Let me give ID of 2. Let me give ID of 3. Let me give ID of 10. And let me give ID of 100. Let me give ID of 200. Let me give ID of 255. Let me give ID of 256. Let me give ID of 257. That means you can understand from 1 to 256, the locations looks as a series of addresses that are starting with 1377. The locations are, that's what Saujanya I have already explained, ma. C equal to B by A means C equal to 2. Why it is not sharing? Because C equal to B by A is evaluated during runtime. Because it is not a simple assignment. It is actually having an assignment and division operator. Division operator takes highest precedence than the assignment operator, which is decided in runtime. I think Saujanya I have already explained. But C equal to A or C equal to B is executed in the compile time only. Okay. Now let us try to understand one more step ahead in integer interning. That is, whenever I am giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 100, 256, looks like the values are series of locations. Here you can say, looks like the locations are consecutive memory locations. Looks like they are consecutive locations. But 257, it's not even consecutive. It looks like a different location itself. Correct? A different series of location. A different series of location. Why is it so? That's what we are going to learn now. Let us try. See, 1 to 256 looks 1 to 256 looks there is a relation in memory locations, correct? So let us also try, some negative values. Let us try some negative values. Okay. For example, let me clear the screen and let me exit and clear the annotations. Let me clear all the one second. Let me clear the drawings and go to the Python prompt again. Let me type ID of minus 250. See, 257 positive value got some value, no? So let me type minus 100. It is giving the same location because it's a different instance. So let me type minus 10. Some other location came. Let me give minus 9. It looks like same location. Okay. Let me give minus 5. If you can notice, the series has changed. The series which the positive number 1 came, 1377 has come again. Let me type minus 3, ID of minus 3, ID of minus 2, ID of minus 1, ID of 0, then ID of 1. Now, clearly you can understand the series has started from minus 5 and it continued till. So what does it mean in this output? The series of memory locations 1377 etc. started with minus 5 and the same series continued till 256. So before minus 5 and after 257, the locations are not fixed. The locations are not fixed. So Python interns integers from minus 5 to 256. Basically, C Python. What is C Python? Python, which is implemented in C. The runtime is C language. Basically, Python runtime environment based on C language. So in C Python, integer interning range is from minus 5 to 256. Then the immediately next question, what is the use? Why minus 5 to 256? These are the two questions. Let me answer the second question first. In general, the values used by most of the programmers are found to be minus 5 to 256 by the Python developers. So these values are cached in a series of memory locations. That concept is called as integer interning. This concept is called as integer interning. Then what is the use? Optimal utilization of memory space. Optimum utilization of memory space. That's why people started using the concept of integer interning. That's why because in case if you are having a big project and in the project there are so many functions and it is keep on running in the background, then based on these values the locations identities are shared in the machine. So if 10 times if you are using 1 instead of 10 into, for example, integer takes 16 bytes. So just imagine without integer interning, okay, 10 instances of 1 creates 10 into 16, that is equal to 160 bytes of memory. But with integer interning, 10 instances of 1 creates only one block of 16 bytes. One block of 16 bytes. Now the time is 6:09. So I will stop this. Let me take the screenshot and I will stop the session for the day. And in case if you have any doubt, you please let me know. You please let me know. Let me